Alright, my happy corrupt and wargamers, welcome back to another video. I am thrilled to have everyone here. The responses over the last few days have been absolutely amazing, mind-blowing. I love the fact that everyone's engaged and they're wanting to learn more about 40k and how to crump your foes in a super exciting way. So we're going to keep the pain train rolling, and we're going to keep learning together, and we're going to become the best wargamers possible. Quick little note before we really get into it. On Monday, I am actually going to be running another live stream with an extremely high-level Tyranids player. And we're going to be doing all the spreadsheets, all that stuff that you guys really love about the Tyranids Codex in particular. That's going to be at 18:30 or 6:30 p.m. for people who don't speak centralized time, at Central European time. If you're in the States, that's just look up what CET is, and you'll know what it is. So we'll be doing that live stream. We'll be asking questions. If you guys are interested in Tyranids at all, if you want to know how to beat them, if you want to know what they do, that's going to be an amazing stream for you. But anyway, we're going to hop right in it. We had a viewer request to start a new series on the characters for all the orcs. So we're going to be running through these character combos. I'll probably be doing this for the custodians also. But for right now, we're starting with the Warboss and the Painboy. What do they do and how do we actually use them? It's really important to understand how we use things almost as much as it is to know what they do. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Warboss here. Warboss is awesome. I freaking love this lad. He's a mad lad. So I was having some troubles with OBS, so I couldn't really upload the data sheets. So if you look in the upper, left-hand corner for me, you'll see base leader, and then underneath that, that'll be Wah tribe leader. So what that means for the top two lines, that's his attacks profile. That's the PPP that he has with the big chop up, and the bottom two would be the PPP for the power claw. The orange and yellows would be for not in the WA, and then the green line, the pure green lines, will be for in the WA phase. PPP basically stands for how much point cost, how good at trading is he. For his points, how many points value do you get back out of him? So a 1 is phenomenal, a 1.5 is really good, a 2 is absolutely acceptable. When you get higher than that, it's not very good. So you can see that he has an amazing PPP value with his Power Claw during the WA. He also has a very good one with the Big Choppa during the WA. But we're always going to run the Power Claw on him because he adds +1 to hit to his unit. So it cancels it, makes the negative of him being only hitting on 3s with the Power Claw basically negligible. So he's got a really cool ability that during the WA he gets an additional 4 attacks, which means during the WA phase he'll have 9 attacks, exploding on 6s, hitting on 2s with the Power Claw, because the WA itself will also give you +1 attack. So you're always going to run Power Claw on him. It's pretty awesome, and that's all great. So he's a lifter. He loves the gym, so this guy's always going to be enhanced. So basically what we're going to do is we got to figure out, do we want Cunning but Brutal on him, or do we want Follow Me Lads? These are the two good options out of our codex. Follow Me Lads is going to give 2 extra inches of movement to the unit. I think everyone can figure out why that's useful. It gets your guys up the board more quickly, gets them into position more quickly. And then Cunning but Brutal is going to be Cunning but Brutal is going to be Fallback and Charge. And this is one of the more powerful abilities that we actually have this edition in really any codex. So because of the way that combat is nerfed, and as you guys play more games of 10th, you're going to notice that always ending in base to base with your pylons, with your charges, is exceptionally frustrating, and it can actually force you to make it so that some of your models can't attack many times. And being able to fall back with a big unit and then reposition and charge again is extremely powerful to this edition. So you're going to choose one of those two for your war bosses. All right, bodyguards, what are the units that we're going to take with them? Well, you can be running knobs or boys. Those are really your options with them, okay? Knobs, you got to figure out, are you taking a 5-man or are you taking a 10-man? With the boys, it's going to be a 10-man or a 20-man. And the real answer is if you're going to try it with the boys, which, by the way, I don't necessarily recommend going with the boys. And I'm going to show you on TTS view here in just a moment why. But if you are, you're probably going to run 20 with a Weird Boy or a Knob with Wah Banner. But realistically, the only thing that could be even remotely considered like competitive would be the 20-man with the Warboss and the Weird Boy. The Knob with Wah Banner is kind of a cute little trick, but I don't think it's really that viable competitively. And even though I don't necessarily think it's the greatest choice competitively to run a 20-man with the Weird Boy, I do think it is actually viable. All right, so here's the argument. You got the 20 and you got the Weird Boy. These guys are going to teleport, and you're going to spend Here We Go on them, so they're going to teleport 9 inches away and have a 7-inch charge, potentially just turn 1. That actually is kind of cool, and it will be enough to tie up an entire flank of your opponent's army in turn 1, and they're going to have to spend a turn chewing through those 20 boys. Now, they can do it, but they're going to have to spend that turn, meaning they're not advancing up one flank, which gives you a massive advantage in board control. So it's not necessarily a terrible idea, but the problem is if you go second, well, indirect fire is just going to absolutely annihilate that boy unit. And if you decide to protect against that and you just want to maybe start them on the battlefield in a battle wagon, suddenly you have another 185 points you're paying for a battle wagon just to deliver a not super great unit. So you're not going to do that. But if you want to run them, you'll run them naked and you'll run them on the ground. Let's talk about the knobs. We take the 5-man unit and we take the 10-man unit. Knobs have an amazing amount of damage output, but you're probably not starting on the field. If you do start them on the field, that's going to be the guy who's running with Follow Me Lads for the plus 2 inches to move, because they're going to move 8 inches. You're going to advance them 3 inches, maybe 4 if you're lucky, and then you're going to maybe doing your charge. So it does give you a little bit extra threat range if you have the Follow Me Lads. What I'm probably doing is I'm starting 2 5-mans in a truck. The truck is really, really nice because you get that bonus 3 inches off the disembark. And now, honestly, I just run the truck up the middle, and when they blow it up, I don't really care about them having to dying in the disembarkation because you don't die on rolls of 1 anymore. Now you just take 1 mortal wound on rolls of 1, which makes it much more likely that you just lose 1 knob instead of 2 or 3 knobs. So that is really exciting. So let me go to the TTS view here, and I am going to be showing you how we want to really be running this all. And through the magic of, oh my gosh, look at that, internet works. Now we are on the TTS view. Okay, everybody. So this is, let me show you, I'm just going to show you right now why we don't, the 20-man isn't the best idea, but it is potentially game-changing if it works out for you. I don't like making my competitive games rely on gambles, so, you know. So right here, I've got the Warboss, and I've got a Weird Boy in a unit of 20 boys. Yes, I know, these models are Beast Nagas. Ignore it, everyone. I know they have to attach to actual boys. I just didn't have boys loaded up, so I'm using Beast Nagas to proxy them. It's the same base size. You'll be okay. Just use your imagination here. Anyway, so turn 1, say I get first turn, and I'm ready to teleport these boys. Pew! Well, I wanted to show you how easy it is for them to block out your deep strike. So you're not going to deep strike them into their backfield because look how huge the footprint of this unit is. It's absolutely massive. And with 4 units in their deployment zone, their entire deployment zone is completely screened against this. It's not like a little 5-man you can sneak in the corner. No, 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 no. This is a huge 22-man blob that it is going to be impossible to deep strike through. Because this guy, 9 inches, you can't even come on the table at all without being complete within 9 inches. So you're never going to deep strike into the deployment zone with this turn 1. Now, maybe in a different turn. And by the way, there's a reality where you take 10 boys with a Weird Boy, but we're talking about the Warboss right now. So we're talking about how to use the Warboss. So don't say I'm saying boys are terrible and I'm doomsaying. I'm not. This is how to run the Warboss, and I'm just kind of showing you the way you want to do it if you want to take them with a unit of 20 boys, which I definitely don't want to. But let's say we teleport in 9 inches away from our Terminators. I just got to scoot them back just a little bit here. Cool. And then we're 9 inches away. So I spent, here we go, and then they're going to be 2 inches away. This is actually kind of cool. You can get them close enough for that turn 1 charge fairly reliably with that 7-inch charge if you spend the CP for here we go. It's not necessarily a terrible decision, but it's also not the greatest. So I'm not doing it. If you do it, let me know how it works. Anyway, let's talk about how we're going to run these knobs. So I'm actually going to have 2 5-mans with a Warboss inside this truck. In my turn, I'm going to run this truck up his 12 inches. It goes 9, and then he's going to go another, like, 3, and he's going to be right here. Yeah, your opponent is probably going to blow this truck up. He's going to have some big tank or something here that's going to blow this guy up. He's going to have some big tanker here that's going to blow this guy up. Alternatively, you could also just move this truck, like, right here. This is actually probably a much better idea, to run them, like, right about like this. So that when you do blow up, you can just let your knobs out here, and you don't have to expose them to all the firepower of your army. So let's say that truck gets all blown up. Pew, 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 pew. So then we let all of our knobs out on this side, and then if they have no more shooting, you can let them out on this side. If they do have more shooting, just let them out, like, say, right about here. All right, and then your truck comes up. So then in your turn, you declare the wall, and then you're going to advance, you're going to do your damage. So these guys are going to come on up there. They're going to go 6 inches, plus 2 for Follow Me Lads, plus 3 for the wall, and they're going to end up right about here or something like that, which gives them a very easy 3-inch charge. These guys will do the same. They'll go 6 inches, then they're going to maybe roll a 3 or something, and they're probably going to end up having to stage for the other one. But one of your units is 100% going to connect. If we put the truck right here, they're both 100% connecting. So this unit's going to annihilate this unit of Terminators, no freaking problem. And remember the math on that. It works really, really well. They're perfectly safe inside the truck. They deliver super awesome, and you're going to smash faces completely. So that's the way I'm going to be running my knobs with my Warboss, and I think you should too. Let's go back to our other PowerPoint view so we can talk about the next guy. All right, so let's talk about the next guy. I like this guy. He's a cool guy. This is the Painboy / Doc Grotznik, Mad Doc Grotznik. Mad Doc Grotznik is one of the coolest characters in Orc lore, by the way. Anyway, this guy does a lot. He gives you a 5-up Feel No Pain, and once per battle will resurrect D3 models. If it's Mad Doc Grotznik, instead of resurrecting D3 models, he gives you an inbuilt fall back and charge, which is super dang powerful. They can go with boys, knobs, burner boys, ludas, and tank bustas. I'm not ever putting on with ludas or tank busters because I'm never taking ludas or tank busters. Their damage output is terrible. They're too expensive. They just don't do anything. Burner boys are good units, but they don't really need the help. I think they're okay on their own. They're going to do their thing. You don't need to spend points for an expensive leader unit for them. So really, you're looking at the weird, or at the Painboy / Grotznik with boys or knobs. You're not going to put them with boys, because if you're taking a 10-man boys, you're probably taking with a weird boy for deep striking shenanigans, and if you're taking a 20-man, you're doing a Warboss and a weird boy. So you're not going to. So the only real option for this Painboy is going to be the knobs. Now I'm going to run the Painboy a little bit differently. I'm going to run him with the 10-man. I'm not running him with the 5-man like I did with Warboss. That's because the Warboss buffs the damage of the knobs by a ton, so a 5-man is more than enough to go in and just slaughter a unit of Terminators. But the Painboy, however, he doesn't buff their damage. Instead, he makes them a heck of a lot tougher. So you run him with a 10-man, and that 5-up Feel No Pain is very, very powerful. I'm going to go back to TTS. I'm going to show you how to use it here. This is going to be a little bit different, but just stick with me, guys. So now that we're here, this is our 10-man knob squad over here. I'm going to move these guys back. And let's just say we have our truck. Where did I put our truck? It's over here. Let's say our truck advanced and he moved right up into the middle, just like this. You're going to let your dudes out in your phase, and both of these guys are going to do their advance, and they're going to charge in your turn too, okay? Because assuming the truck has been exploded. So these guys get up into the field, and they're going to be punching people in the face really hard in battle round 2, most likely. Meanwhile, you're going to have 2 turns to be advancing these knobs. So in your first turn, they're going to go 6 inches, and +3 for an advance. So they're going to make it to roughly here. On your second turn, maybe they end up making it here. I don't know, something like that. Now your opponent is going to be having to deal with these knobs that are, with the Warbosses and the knobs that are in their faces. So after your Warboss slaughters these Terminators, they're going to end up approximately here. And these guys are going to slaughter these Terminators, and they're going to be somewhere over here. Say these guys are all dead. Right. So now that these guys are all dead, your opponent's going to have to deal with them. It's going to be hard for them to draw lines. Maybe this isn't the best map for it, so perhaps we would have actually stored these guys on this edge to make them a little bit harder to see. Your knobs are still going to get hit. They're still going to get shot, mostly by your indirect fire. Because even though they're relatively well hidden on this side, indirect will always find a way. Let's say indirect is a total jerk, and it kills 4 boys. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, that's actually a tall order. A unit of Desolator killing 4 knobs, maybe 5 knobs even, actually. Let's just kill that 5th knob too. Now, in your battle round 3, your Painboy is going to go, oh, hey, it's time to resurrect D3 models. So you're just going to come over here, and you're going to roll a single dice, and you get 1 back. Let's just say we get an average of 2 back or something like that, just for the purposes of this. Because on average, you're going to get 2 back. So what you're going to do is you're going to put them up 2 inches, which gets you a free 2 inches of movement, guys. Do you understand how that works out? Because when you resurrect them, you just resurrect them with incoherency, but you get yourself 2 inches of free movement. Then you move your whole unit 6 inches, and if there's anyone left alive, they then get their big charge. So you get a huge follow-up. You get a huge follow-up here. It's a really big deal. And then seeing as they're going to be tucked away in a place where only indirect shooting them, they're going to be getting cover, which puts them up to a 3-up armor save with a 5-up Feel No Pain and a toughness of 5. They're actually fairly durable. They're probably not going to die super easily. I mean, with dedicated indirect, your enemy could still kill them. But this gives you a great follow-up. The other option is to be running it as Mad Doc Grotznik or even a Painboy with Cunning but Brutal. And if you did that, that's totally a fair option. But it is a little bit more expensive if you give the enhancement to the Painboy. And you can still do all this, get tied up, and then in your next turn, fall back, and then still charge again. So these are the 2 ways that I am strongly considering using our not or I mean our these two characters. This is the Warboss, this is the Painboy. The Painboy / Mad Dog Rotsnick, I'm going to be running in a 10-man Nob Squad, and the Warboss is going to be going with the 5-mans. If you guys liked this, if you liked the damage output that I showed, this type of video is super, super fun to do, and I get to teach you how to use these little tactical surgical strikes. I'm going to be going through all the characters. If you really have a recommendation for like which characters you want to see next, type them down in the comments, because as some of you may have noticed, I do respond to basically every single comment. I work really hard, and I really appreciate you guys and your comments, so I respond to practically everything. If I miss one or two here, I'm sorry, but I do work really hard on hitting those. So let me know who you want to see next, and we will be back in another video talking about those characters. Until then, use your 5-man Nob Squads with your Warboss, use your 10-man for your Painboy, and enjoy your happy crumpin' days. I'm out. Bye-bye, everyone.